This is artist and television star Bob Ross. In his lifetime, he created more than 30,000 paintings. Yet you will not see them hanging next to the Mona Lisa or paired with Pablo Picasso. But that never bothered Bob. He did not paint for fame or fortune. Growing up in Florida in the 1940s, Bob Ross lived a simple life and found joy in simple things like the clouds and trees. His heart was connected to the nature around him, and his house was often filled with the injured wildlife he rescued. You need to understand nature to appreciate the great things that have been created. We spend so much of our life walking around, looking but never seeing. Bob saw everything. Phthalo blue, sap green, cadmium yellow. As a boy, he spent time working with his father, a carpenter. He taught Bob to build sheds of duck, sienna and barns in Van Dyke brown and yellow ochre. Bob loved creating, but building was hard work. One day, Bob lost the tip of a finger in a carpentry accident. We do not make mistakes in our world. We only have happy accidents. And very quickly we learn to work with anything that happens. And he learned. But before he owned his first set of paints, Bob learned to create with his imaginations, his eyes never drifting far from the clouds. He had lay in the grass and see shapes floating across the sky. Perhaps Bob dreamed of seeing those clouds up close, because in 1961, at 18 years old, he enlisted in the United States Air Force. But Bob did not become a pilot who soared through the clouds. Instead, he was sent far away from Florida to Fairbanks, Alaska. The Alaskan landscape was like nothing he had ever seen before. Titanium white, Indian yellow, midnight black. In the Air Force, Bob discovered the power of words. As a sergeant, he spent his days barking orders. Make your bed, stand up tall, do not be late. And the soldiers listened. But Bob did not like to yell. He was happiest in nature, and he escaped to the quiet countryside whenever he could, his heart bursting to share what he saw with others. When the Air Force announced it was hosting a painting class, Bob eagerly enrolled, hoping to paint the images that swelled inside him. But he became discouraged by his teachers. They had tell you what makes a tree, but they would not tell you how to paint a tree. Bob spent hours agonizing over details on his canvas. The traditional style of painting could not capture his heart. There had to be a different way. Then one day, powerful words drifted from the television set over the din of a crowded room. "How long can you hold the dream?" said Bill Alexander, a painter on TV. Bob felt like Bill was talking directly to him. Bill skillfully spread paint across the canvas in a technique called alla prima, where the wet oil paint is used without allowing it to dry between layers. Landscapes flashed through Bob's mind. This was it. Bob began to paint in every spare moment. Now he explored the countryside through art. During lunch breaks he had held a sandwich in one hand and a brush in the other. He practiced using the wet-on-wet style until he became so fast that he could finish a whole painting in 30 minutes. Van Dyke brown, bright red, alizarin crimson. For the first time, Bob's art flowed freely from his heart. Bob yearned for more. If he could learn to capture his heart in paint, others could too, and he wanted to help. Bob retired from the military and left Alaska behind. He sought out Bill Alexander, the painter from TV. Bob met Bill for the first time and learned more about painting a la prima. He studied hard, and before long he was leading painting workshops for Bill. Now instead of barking orders, Bob taught with soft voice. His gentle and encouraging words held power. Just let your imagination be your guide. Let it happen. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you can do. And his studies listened. In one of his art class, a student named Annette sat behind a canvas. She had been suffering from deep sadness, but Bob's words of encouragement lifted her heart. Painting offers freedom. On this canvas, you can move mountains. You can do anything on this canvas. Annette knew that Bob's words could help her. Others might like to hear them too. Bob and Annette became business partners, along with Bob's wife Janet and Annette's husband Walter. They took care of the office work.